Okay, I don't know what... Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I can't read it. There's no words. There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out.
I don't know what that means, to play us out. What does that mean?
To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
So, the reason we did that, in a little intro, was Dave and I have been talking about doing a live show, and I keep hearing, I would say it a couple times, F it, we'll do it live, and so what are we gonna do, Dave? What's it gonna take for us to get to a live show?
I think if we get 1,000 subscribers, which I think we have around 13 right now. So it's up to you people out there to hit that subscribe button. And when we hit 1,000, we'll do a live show.
Do a live show. We may do many more after that if the live show goes well. So, yeah, share, like, subscribe. The other thing we've got is, by the way, welcome to episode 4 of Dude, Check This Out. I think we got a pretty good show lined up for everyone today. We do have a Facebook page that went live. Was it last week?
Well, it's going to go live just right after we get done recording this episode. So it'll be live when this video is uploaded.
So we've had it around for a week, and I feel like it's live, but it's only live for Dave and I. So yeah, it'll go live.
Yeah,
coming up. So be on the lookout. We'll make sure it's in the video or in the links below.
Yeah, and on the YouTube channel, we'll upload all our videos or links to them. And then we'll have some other topics that we might talk about or elaborate on some of our top 5 lists and, maybe answer some questions there. But yeah, it should be fun. So like that page as well.
Cool. So today, episode 4, we don't have a theme for this one like we did last week's, but we haven't. We're going to be covering top 5. That's 5 from me and 5 from Dave. 80s military themed movies. We were discussing this in great detail, like just 80s movies. And I agree with Dave when he said, like, there's just way too many movies. It would be a shit show of comments after it, like just arguments about it. So we decided to go with the genre, and we picked war movies or military themed movies. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a war movie, but it's military. We're going to cover, like we've done in previous episodes, we're going to cover the one that got away. And then we're going to do something a little new this week. It's called the Fun Horizon. It's essentially upcoming entertainment to look forward to. What are we covering today, Dave?
I think we're going to do albums that are scheduled to come out this year.
Sweet. And you might not see this in the edit, but if time permits, we are going to cover another perfect album this week. We'll see how chatty Dave and I get today. All right. I got a question for you, Dave. Have you ever been called a boomer?
Let's see. No, I don't. I have not. The gray might fool some people into thinking I might be older than I am, but no, I've never been called a boomer. How about you?
Yes, quite a bit. And I It's mostly my wonderful daughters that call me a boomer. And every time they do, they roll their eyes when I explain to them that that is not me, that is their grandparents. And they don't care. So they could just, I would actually think it would be better for them to just call me an old guy, right? An effing old guy or fog, right? We used to call folks when we were their age, like when we started working at this one place, Dave and I were there. There was a crew of men who worked they used to work for like the same place before they joined us at this company. And I'm not going to mention the company, and they actually, it was a symbol of pride for them. They're like, they were one of the fogs, the effing old guys. And they were hilarious. There's still a couple on Facebook that I'm friends with. So, but yeah, it's supposed to be thrown out as an insult. And I think you're like, you called me the wrong thing. I'm a Gen Xer, right? We don't exist.
Yeah, kind of like the Hufflepuffs of the Harry Potter world, the one group that everyone forgets about. But I think a lot of the younger, really young generations don't really know the definitions of the Gen Xers, the Gen Y, Gen Z, that type of thing. So they kind of just try to figure out which one throws the most shade, and they lump us all under boomers.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'd love to see them call the greatest generation a boomer. See what happens. Even at like 100 years old, they'll be like, I'm going to get out of my wheelchair. I'm going to throw you across the room. You never gotten a whooping like this before. And from 100-year-old, that's still, for some, would be like, oh, that hurts. Why are you hitting me? I'm crying. You got me in the feels, boomer. All right, cool. Let's get into this here. We want to get into this top 5 war movies.
Yeah,
or military movies. Sorry. You want to go first, Dave?
Sure. Okay. This one takes me back because I first saw this on regular TV back when you had 3 channels or 4 channels. And it's a 1980 movie, The Final Countdown. So it's directed by Don Taylor, and it stars Kirk Douglas and Martin Sheen. And basically what it is the USS Nimitz in modern day at that time gets caught in a electrical storm that puts them back into time, right into the days preceding Pearl Harbor invasion. And it's a nuclear powered aircraft carrier. And they are stuck with this decision whether or not they should engage and prevent Pearl Harbor from happening because they have the firepower to do it, and or let it happen so they don't change history. So it's an interesting movie. There's some great scenes where with a F-14 Tomcat goes up against Mitsubishi A6M2, I think that's right, number 0. I'm just throwing this off the top of my head. And they go into a dogfight, basically chase, and they lay waste to the Zeros without really having to. I don't even think they fired their weapons, basically. So it's a cool movie. That's my number 5.
It's kind of those like sci-fi what ifs, right? Where you're just like what if you could put an F-14 against one of those planes, right?
Right.
I think the jet wash alone would take them out of the sky.
Yeah,
that's a good movie. I like that one. I didn't think this is like oh yeah. See, this is why we couldn't just do 80s movies. It would have been ridiculous.
Right.
All right. So I guess my number 5 is I didn't do a lot of homework, but I know the movies, and now I know my movies, right? So it's a 1981 movie. Barely gets into the decade. It's called Taps. So it's a military style movie. It's not a war movie. Well, towards the end, it kind of feels like it because there's a lot going on there. And it's got actors like George C. Scott. So we just talked about Patton. I guess I'm a George C. Scott fan. Timothy Hutton. I'm reading the list here because there's so many young actors in this that go on in their careers to be famous actors. So Sean Penn, Tom Cruise, I mentioned Timothy Hutton, and just a bunch of other folks that if you saw them, you'd be like, oh, wow, he looks so young. And I know him from these things, right? But so it's centered around it's Bunker Hill Academy. It's this military school for young men, and the general, who's played by George C. Scott, or the person in charge of the school, has an issue. I think it was a legal issue that turned into him. I can't remember if it was. I think he did eventually pass away. And anyways, so the kids take over the school, and what's really unusual about this school is, for some reason, they've got all this like real military ammo, M16s, M60s. They're breaking out all sorts of stuff, and they basically take over the school, and it turns into an escalation with the actual army showing up. And it's if you're a little kid, that's thinking about going to the academy, this is probably not the right movie for you to watch, right? It's just not going to be the right thing. So, but yeah, that's my number 5.
Cool. Yeah, that was a good movie. I did enjoy that one. So number 4, right? This one could be on one of the the most popular movie lists of all of the 80s. 1986 Top Gun.
Because I was inverted.
Everyone knows this story. Directed by Tony Scott. Stars Tom Cruise, Kelly McGillis, Val Kilmer, Anthony Edwards, Tom Skerritt. Just a ensemble cast, and there's even some other big actors that have small roles. But it's a story of Lieutenant Pete Mitchell, and the daredevil pilot seems to break all the rules. He gets invited to go to the Top Gun Academy, and he goes up against his nemesis, Iceman, and then there's tragedy during the training. His navigator, Goose, played by Anthony Edwards, dies after ejecting out of the aircraft. Another one of those icon huge movies. I think I saw it 3 times at the theater when it was out.
Wow.
So that's my number 4. I mean, just so many iconic scenes, and the volleyball scene, the singing at the jukebox, and some of the catch lines of all of the 80s.
I feel the need for speed.
Great movie.
Yeah. Cool number 4. All right, so number 4 for me is going to be a bit of a theme in the next few movies that I pick. If you know me, you'll know why. This one is the second movie in this franchise, and it is the 1986 movie Aliens with Sigourney Weaver. In fact, I watched this before I watched Alien, the first movie, which they got real creative with the name Alien than Aliens, but rather than Alien 2, which is like, because I think at the time there was just so many sequels to everything. But anyways, this is centered around Riley? Was it Riley Scott or Riley? I can't remember what her name was in the movie. But anyways, the actress Sigourney Weaver going back to this place to with a unit of Marines. So I wonder why I picked this one. And what I really like about this movie was it was in the future, but the armament that they were using was just so like very Stone Age. Like they were using projectiles. They weren't using lasers where like the current, and during that time, all the space movies had laser beams and things going on, lasers everywhere. So, but I liked the movie. I thought it was a combination of like sci-fi, horror, monster movie. So that's my number 4.
Oh no, not again.
I think I was the same way. I saw Aliens before I saw Alien, and it's a cool movie.
There was another Aliens after that, I think, and then there was like this surprise, like oh, that's part of this in the movie Prometheus. Have you seen Prometheus?
No, I remember. I didn't see it, but I do remember knowing about it. I didn't know it was part of Aliens.
Might have spoiled it for people, but it towards the end, it all gets figured out. You're like, oh, wait a second. There's like a lot of things that they show you where you're like, storyline seems similar, and then at the end you're like, oh yeah, yep.
Didn't they do an Aliens versus Predator movie too? Also,
yeah, I don't know why they allow people to do it. It's like Jason versus Freddy and
right. Jason takes
football players
Manhattan.
versus hockey players, and it's just a dumb idea.
Cool.
All right, number three.
Number three takes us back to 1981, and this movie is Stripes. It's directed by Ivan Reitman, starring Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Warren Oates, who played Sergeant Hulka, a veteran actor, PJ Soles and Sean Young, John Candy, and then there's a lot of actors that had small roles, like early roles in their career. John Larroquette, Judge Reinhold were their first significant feature films. Dave Thomas of the Mackenzie Brothers fame was in it. I had to go back and look just to make sure. And Timothy Busfield, Bill Paxton was in it. Just and another one of those movies that just has like a ton of up and coming actors at the time. But this one is about John Winger, who's a cab driver. He loses his job, his girlfriend, his apartment, and then he talks his best friend, Russell, who's played by Harold Ramis, to join the Army. They join the Army and go through boot camp, and are slacking off and causing trouble. And
the name's Francis Sawyer. But everybody calls me Psycho. Any of you guys call me Francis, and I'll kill you.
Ultimately, their drill sergeant, Hulka, gets injured, and they finish boot camp by themselves, and then get invited to go on a secret mission. And yeah, it's just a great comedy, one of the great comedies of the 80s, one of my favorite Bill Murray movies. My number three.
Bill Paxton was in my number 4, Aliens. Who's that?
Yeah.
They're all coming in, man. They're coming in everywhere, man. Couldn't wait for that guy to get toasted in that movie. He kept whining so much.
Yeah. Chet, he was in our, tying back to our first episode, he was brother Chet.
Chet. All right. What are we at? Number 3, right? Number 3.
You're number 3.
Number 3 is apparently I liked 1986. It was a good year for me for movies from the 80s. Heartbreak Ridge. Another Marine movie. But if you're looking at that as like, I wonder what the life of a Marine is. Much like Aliens, it's science fiction. It was totally, there's a lot of stuff in there that wasn't really what most Marines would consider Marine Corps like. But
It's all a question of mind over matter. We no longer mind because you don't matter. See, you've been voted out of office, baby. Mr. Jones, you fall out in that street, or I'm gonna kick your ass right off this planet. Oh, I don't think so, babe. Sweet.
But it is, we're proud of that movie, I guess, as Marines. But yeah, it's got probably the most badass Marine you could think of, even though I don't think he was a Marine. I have to go look at we'll have to do some homework on that. Let me know in the comments. Was he? Let's go look. Let's real time this, right? This is what live is going to be like if we get 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that was, I had contemplating adding that into my top 5. But I know, with you being a Marine.
Yeah, it doesn't say he did any. I could be totally wrong. I'm just looking at Wikipedia right now. I don't think he was. I would think I would have remembered that. Anyways, so he's assigned as Gunny Highway to a ragtag unit of just the worst platoon possible, or worst. Yeah, it was a platoon. And he whips him into shape and turns him around in pure Clint Eastwood badass ways, right? So it is one of my favorite movies from the 80s. It's my number 3.
I love the scene where he gets called into the office, to the commanding officer's office, and You've got this guy right out of officer school, and he's got like, one participation medal, and you have Clint Eastwood, who has in this movie has the Medal of Honor and just like chest, what do they call that, coleslaw or
Fruit salad.
salad?
Oh, the
Fruit salad.
Yeah.
Fruit salad. And that's and just because he's insubordinate, he has been demoted so many times down to a gunny sergeant. Where, but yeah, that is one of my favorite. I think that might be my favorite Clint Eastwood movie of all.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Like, we've got like a lot of those, like Every Which Way But Loose, and just some of the 70s movies that he did. But I think that one
Dirty Harry, and
Dirty Harry, yeah.
I think of all of his westerns, Outlaw Josie Wales was my favorite.
Do you feel lucky, punk? Okay, Dave, we're up to number two.
Number two. So this was tough because, really it's 1 and 1A for me. It's hard to put one of these above the other, but number two for me is 1987's Good Morning Vietnam, directed by Barry Levinson, starring Robin Williams and Forrest Whitaker's in it. So this takes place in Vietnam, 1965, where a DJ, I think is he Air Force, or is he? It might be.
Yeah, they were Air Force.
He was he was Air Force. Gets assigned to an Army base, a forward base. I don't know if it's a forward base, but as a morning DJ, and his name's Adrian Cronauer. He has the famous opening line, "Good morning, Vietnam," and will tie into my first one because you can hear that that saying in the background in my number one. But he gets friendly with some locals, and he assumes, but one of his friends, local civilians, turns out to be Viet Cong, and it's one of those movies where the soundtrack is just as important as the plot, and it's both of them. I still listen to the soundtrack to this day. Some great songs on it, but the story about the radio star in Vietnam, my number two.
Yeah, it's funny, like when you see Robin Williams doing these like very serious roles, the movies are just amazing. He must have just like looked for, if he was going to do something that wasn't going to be him doing something goofy, it was definitely going to be one for the ages, right? And that was definitely one I liked. I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, from what I understand, it was one of those things where they gave him some outline plot or some lines, and he did a lot of ad-libbing, especially the whole on-air DJ scenes. So yeah, some great lines, great characters that he does. Yeah. My number two.
All right, so
your number two.
My number two is the 1987 Stanley Kubrick classic, Devil Dog Special, Marine Corps' favorite Full Metal Jacket. It has R. Lee Emery as the drill instructor, the senior drill instructor, and it is, in my mind, it's probably the closest thing to the boot camp experience that a civilian would see. I know there's been a lot of stuff on YouTube lately that kind of goes into the recruit training in boot camp. And this is not the only thing that the movie's about. In fact, I think Kubrick's methodology for movies is he has, I think it's 3 main themes in the movie, or 3 main scenes, or whatever you want to call it. And the first one is boot camp. And then another one was them, I think it was on patrol, and there was a lot of political statements. And the last one was this sniper attack. But anyways, like, it is the first part of this, they had R. Lee Emery as a consultant. What is your major malfunction, numbnuts? and they actually asked him to be the actor because he was just, when he was instructing as a consultant, because he was in the Marines, he was a former Marine, so we call him Gunny. He's just forever going to be the Gunny. But he was doing such a phenomenal job. They're like, well, why don't we just have this guy do that work? Why don't we have him be the actor? And they unleashed his fury on those actors. So, yeah, that's my number 2. I can't tell you how many times I watched that movie before I went to boot camp, thinking this was going to prepare me for the experience, but it didn't do a damn thing. So,
yeah, it was almost like 2 separate movies. The second half was wasn't he a writer that was tagged along with a platoon on patrol and
yeah, the main character, nicknamed Joker,
right,
was a Stars and Stripes writer or reporter.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one was another one that I had considered highly for my top 5.
It's so interesting.
So,
we have not had the same picks or discussed up front. Like, wait a second, I wanted that to be my number 2. How could it be your number 2 or number 5?
Right. Yep. Well, there's a lot to choose from, and I seem to lean a lot towards the comedic ones.
Do we have? I mean, we had a lot to pick from the 80s.
Right.
I didn't look at the 90s, the 2000s, but do we just put out way too many war movies, or was there something about the 80s that had us just making war movies because people paid money to go to the movies to see them? What do you think? Can you put something in the comments below? Like, what were your thoughts? Do you feel like we had a lot of war movies, or as Americans, do we have too many war movies?
Yeah, it's a good question. Never really thought of that. All right. Number one. So like I said, this is was going to go back and forth, 1A. So for me, my number 1 is 1986 Platoon. Now this movie is directed by Oliver Stone, based on his experience in Vietnam with, I think it's the 25th Infantry Division. I'll have to double check that. I should know this. Starring Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe, and Keith David, and there's quite a few other actors that you'd recognize. So this is a story about Chris Taylor, who's played by Charlie Sheen. He's I think he drops out of college to join to enlist in the military, to go to Vietnam, even though he was exempt because of his college status. So he goes there and he finds himself caught between 2 sergeants, Sergeant Barnes and Elias. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Barnes, I think it's Tom Berenger's character, and he's the don't play by the rules, do it his way type of gruff sergeant. And Willem Dafoe plays Sergeant Elias, who's a little more sympathetic towards doing the right thing. So Charlie, Chris Taylor just gets stuck between the two, and it's just shows his story in how he survives the Vietnam. And it's another one of those that has a great soundtrack, a lot of orchestra, I want to say, style, and not really, but music really sets the mood in this movie. And great cinematography, just a great movie all around. So Platoon, 1986, my number 1.
Yeah. You think it was enough for the Viet Cong to be shooting bullets at our guys? They had to worry about each other too, like the infighting that would go on,
right?
And the stress of wars causes some of that, and the drugs and shell shock and what we call it now PTSD probably played a lot into that. People kind of just losing their minds. So
yeah, and I I've seen a post earlier this week, and it reminded me of this movie. So in every Huey helicopter during Vietnam, they had a switch that if it was up, it would automatically play Fortunate Son by Creedence. And if it was in the down position, it would automatically play Fortunate Son by Creedence. So no matter when a helicopter takes off out of anywhere in Vietnam, that, you could hear Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Kind of sounds, yeah, every movie, like, doesn't matter which scene it is, they're like, hit the CCR button, would you, before you take off? Landing lights, then the CCR button. Yeah. So that's hilarious, Dave.
What's your number one?
Number one is a movie that I could sit with my brothers blindfolded, and we could just recite the plot. We could recite all of the lines from all of the actors in this movie. It's 1984. Double check real quick. I thought it was, it's 84 movie, Red Dawn. And it's got, again, it's another one of those, Charlie Sheen's in it, because I think he's in every war movie in the 80s. And he was also at every party in the 80s too. Whoa. Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Leah Thompson, Charlie Sheen, Jennifer Grey, like the well-known actors and actresses that you'd be familiar with. It's centered in a town in the western United States, and the Russians, working with the Cubans, invade the United States in a non-nuke strike. And it's, they fight back. I say they take to the mountains. They start to become guerrillas and establish guerrilla warfare against the invading army. And so it's just one of those like what if movies, right? And they did a remake of it, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because, quite honestly, it just disgusts me compared to the original. But it's definitely one that if it's on, I have this conversation quite often that I watch this movie whenever it's on. Oh, it's on. And I just burn an afternoon, or it's 2 a.m. I'm like, oh, it's on. And I'm up till 6, whatever. It's like, I watch that movie, and people say, why do you keep watching that movie over and over again? I enjoy it. Do you listen to a song once and then throw it away? No, you listen to it over and over again. It's just my song in my head just happens to be 4 hours long or 3 hours long.
I remember sitting in class when that movie was out, looking out the windows and just like, okay, if the Russians are going to start paratrooping down, where would we run into school? And just that movie puts those thoughts in your head, even though, it's so far-fetched, I think.
Yeah, so that's the number one for me.
Awesome. And just to remind everybody, these are strictly our opinion. I mean, if you have a number one or some of your favorite movies of this genre in the 80s, post them below, comment, and I'd love to see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, what is your top 5? We've done these top 5s for a few episodes now. We should ask you. We are going to ask you. Please put your top 5 in there, and then let us know what you think of ours.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
All right. So the one that got away, if you haven't seen this episode before, it's the thing that we've had in the past that we either lost or we sold and have major regrets. And so I'll go ahead and start this week's, the one that got away. Up on the screen is a picture of it. It is and I don't know the exact year of this, but it's, if you notice in the lower right corner underneath chorus, it says CE-2. And the -2 means it's the second version of it beyond the prototype, or at least the second version that's been commercially available. And their CE2s are from a while back, and now they're in high demand. I think, like, when I looked on reverb.com, not sponsored by reverb.com, by the way, they were going for over $200, and I'm pretty sure I think I paid like $50 or $60 for this secondhand used. The reason I'm kind of frustrated about this one is I know I didn't sell it in the Great Purge of 2008 when I sold most of my gear. I know exactly what it was in. It was in this box that was given to me by my mother. It's like an army green box that she put a bunch of stuff in and sent to me. And I just stuck that pedal in there, and I can't find that box. And I've looked everywhere, and I lost it. I'm pretty sure I lost it in a move. So if anybody's ever lost something in the move, you're like, where did it go? I don't know where I put it. But anyways, that's my one that got away. Not that I would want to sell it and make money on it. I liked the sound of it. I just wish I had kept it. So, or at least I could find it and then put it on eBay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, guitar pedals, love them.
They're a huge thing now. I mean,
Yeah.
you can make a lot of money on them.
Yep. Okay, so the one that got away from me was up on the screen here. It's a T-shirt that I got in 1993. The Alice in Chains Dirt Tour. Went to see him in Detroit, and great show. I did my first perfect album was this specific album, Dirt, and this T-shirt I wore it all the time. Has the concert dates on the back. There's a picture in our show intro of me playing guitar wearing this. So I knew I had it up until 1996 sometime, but I don't know whatever happened to it. So recently I thought I'd, just go order one on Amazon or something. And turns out they don't reproduce this one. They reproduce just about every other one. So my next option was to just see if I can find it secondhand, and the price is just outrageous for some reason. I think the cheapest I saw was $320 all the way up to $486. So it's just one. I'll always love the colors, the monochrome blue, the graphics with the different songs on it. But yep, my one that got away. Wish I had it.
Bummer. That is a bummer. And it's not like if you go get the shirt, even if you had the money to get the shirt, or if you wanted to spend the money to get the shirt, not that you did not have the money, but you just like the sentimental aspect of it. Like, I got this shirt during that time,
Yep.
It's a bummer. All right. Rest in peace, things that got away.
Yep. What's the one thing that you guys have out there that you wish you still had, that either later became valuable or just something sentimental that just lost over time and you wish you had back? Comment below.
Let us know. This is where I think when we do live, it'll be kind of cool to watch this stream, and we could say like, so and so, that's a great one. You can watch the live feed,
and we could answer you if you get us up to 1,000 subscribers.
So come on, what are you waiting for? Tell everyone. They're going to get cheesier. These plugs for this are going to get cheesier as the episodes go on. Episode 34. This is a real quick one. Get people to subscribe. We want to do a live show. All right, we're out. Bye.
Yeah.
All right, what's next? Fun Horizon.
Yep.
Fun Horizon. We're ready to get into this, Dave? It's I think mostly the stuff you brought to the table today, right?
Yeah, this is a new topic for us. In this one, we're going to talk about some upcoming albums for 2022, anticipated albums. Well, this is not a complete list of everything that's coming out. These are just some notable ones of some artists that we have some interest in. The first one that I have on the list is a new album by Eddie Vedder called Earthling. It's due out around February 11th. It's his first solo effort in over 11 years, and he's going to have some guest musicians, notably Elton John, Ringo Starr, Stevie Wonder, Chad Smith, and Josh Klinghoffer from Red Hot Chili Peppers. So looking forward to that one.
Cool. 11 years. What was the last thing that he did? Was it with Pearl Jam, or was it still a solo thing then?
I think it was his last solo album, because
okay,
I can't remember the name of it. I can always put a graphic up in the edit.
Okay.
Next album, this one is Tears for Fears, The Tripping Point. It's due out February 25th. So they haven't done an album in I think 17 years. Kurt Smith and Roland Orzabal, they have most known for their 80s songs from The Big Chair, Shout, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. We got tickets to come and see them in June or July. They're coming to town with Garbage. So Ann and I are going to see them at Pine Knob, which, by the way, I don't know if you're aware, but it's no longer DTE Music Energy Theater. They went back to Pine Knob, which it's always been Pine Knob.
It's always been Pine Knob. We're gonna call it DTE. If anybody corrects you, be like, no, it's Pine Knob.
But they're in the local media, and they're really pushing the nostalgia and showing old clips and bringing back the name Pine Knob.
Yeah.
So the next album coming out February 25th. While I'm not really a huge fan, I just know it. She's been inactive for a while. Avril Lavigne, album called Love Sucks, spelled S-U-X, typical of her, skater boy, going along that theme. So all you Avril Lavigne fans, you got something to look forward to. Next one, you have any?
She was married to one of the singers from Sum 41, right?
I'm not sure. Jack White has 2 albums coming out, one April 8th and one July 22nd. The first one is called Fear of the Dawn. It's going to be a hard rock album. And the second one is called Entering Heaven Alive, which is supposed to be more of a mellow acoustic. Interested to hear what it's going to sound like, if it's going to be more of his solo style or if it's going to be more of his White Stripes style. But great songwriter, Jack White.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to that. That's awesome. I'm a huge Jack White fan.
Yeah. Next one, and this one, the date is not yet been decided. It's supposed to be there's gonna be 4 Weezer albums coming out, called Seasons. SZNS is the title, and so there's gonna be one spring, summer, fall, and winter. Tentatively planned for March, June, September, and December. So that's Weezer.
Sorry, Dave, I gotta add some color commentary here for a second. Okay. So you're familiar with the Curse of the Double album, right? Like the double album kills the bands, basically, like Guns N' Roses, right? Yeah. Smashing Pumpkins, like, not that they're still around, but like it really decelerated them. I feel like Weezer was like, with COVID, we've been in the studio like basically for 2 years. And we could put out like a quadruple album, or we could put out 4 albums in a year. I think they found a way to break the curse. Like, we're just gonna put out more frequent albums.
So like 2 kills the band, but if you quickly add 2 more, it reboots somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Weird logic.
More Weezer.
Some other to be announced at a later time, but scheduled for sometime this year. Ozzy Osbourne has one coming out. Paramore. I don't know if you.
Yes, I like Paramore.
So supposedly they have one coming out. Red Hot Chili Peppers are due to have a new album with John Frusciante back on the guitar. One of my favorite guitar players that probably is highly underrated in the guitar playing world. Great guitar player. This one is kind of interesting. The Cure has a new album coming out. Not sure how that's going to go. We'll see. Vampire Weekend, that's another one. It's a name that I hear a lot and hear people talking about a lot. I'm not sure if I really know much about Vampire Weekend. I'll have to look them up, but the name alone of the band intrigued me. But those are the upcoming albums. Like I said, just not all of them, but some of the ones that I'm looking forward to. Anything on that list that specifically, strikes your intrigue?
Yeah, like it's like binge watching. You go, I know that show's out. I'm gonna wait for it. And with Weezer, I'm thinking, do I just wait till next year and buy all four, get all four? Because maybe they'll leave me wanting more with the first season, and I'm gonna want the other three. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I think Weezer are the ones that I'm like, Weezer, Jack White are the ones I'm probably gonna want to would want to listen to first, or just get access to, or can't wait for. Right. Peppers, I agree with you. Frusciante was probably, the Peppers would argue differently because they had a guitarist before him, but I think John Frusciante is like probably their best guitarist, and you're right, very underrated. In fact, the other day I was actually sitting here using like this Guitar Tab website to learn the "I Could Have Lied" solo, and it's freaking hard. And it's really simple sounding solo. I'm just like, wait a second, I don't think my hand can do that on the fretboard. And I'm just trying to figure it out. But yeah, he's an amazing guitarist, and I like his style too. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Another one. I want the Peppers to do something different. I kind of feel like the California bass funk, I don't know. They got to do something different. They're a talented band. I just wish they kind of would evolve a little bit in a way that's not the same stuff over and over again.
Right. I just know with John Frusciante involved, it'll be good either way.
Yeah.
So.
All right, where are we at? So that is the Fun Horizons. Stay tuned to future episodes for Fun Horizons. We're going to cover a couple other things that are coming out. In fact, I was at a movie theater. Whoa! I was at a movie theater last week. Friends of ours were hosting an event and reserved one of the theaters to see the Spider-Man No Way Home movie. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
No, I need to see that bad.
We were trying to figure out, like beforehand, a lot of folks that were there, we were there for a charity event for folks with food allergies. And it is like, we were sitting there kind of trying to figure out, because a lot of people haven't seen many Marvel movies or even the Spider-Man movies. Like, which one is this one? And which ones haven't I seen? I'm like, oh my God, there's like so many villains and so many, like, since Tobey Maguire, there's been how many Spider-Man movies? 4, 5, 6? I can't remember. We were trying to remember. That was the struggle. And I'm not going to spoil this for you, but like, it all comes together. It all comes together thanks to Doctor Strange. So this is why I got on this subject. Wow. Is like, we walk the halls of the theater to go to where we're supposed to go see our movie. And like, there's just tons of like ads for new movies. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's going to be so much content coming out. And I just, we're going to cover this, and I don't want to spoil alert for another episode, but there's a lot of movies that are coming out that I can't wait for them to come out. It's about freaking time. So
stay tuned next show for that.
Next show. All right, do we get time for the perfect album? Do we want to wait? What do you want to do, Dave?
Well, I'm all dressed up for it, so
I think you should. Let's get into this. All right, here's the perfect album. I'm going to hand it over to you, man.
We are your humble servants. Please give us the power to blow people's minds with our high voltage rock.
So, perfect album for me this time is one that I first saw a song on MTV, and that was the song Bad Luck by Social Distortion on the Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell album. Came out in 1992. I think it made it as high as number 76 on the Billboard 200. That's a mix of rockabilly, punk, a little bit of country, but just one of those songs that just hit me, where I'm like, this reminds me of like old time rock and roll. It was unlike anything, kind of like how maybe like the Stray Cats a little bit struck me as old time rock and roll. Just song after song after song. Every single one of these, I got the cassette tape and just, had one of those auto plays, and it played it front to back, front to back. I think I might have listened to it 3 times in a row. The very first time I put it in my cassette. couple, I won't go through all the songs, but like I said, Bad Luck is probably their most popular song, maybe their biggest hit that they've had in their whole career. 99 to Life, Making Believe, let's see, King of Fools, This Time Darling. It's just loaded with songs. There's 10 of them on the cassette. And then I think I later got the CD, which had a bonus track, Ghost Town Blues, which was just, I couldn't believe I was missing that from the cassette. I don't know why they do that. And then there's a couple other songs if you get a Japanese release, Alone and Forsaken and Mainliner. But I saw these guys for the first time just before COVID, and wow, just big fan. There's Skelly.
Yeah, there's evidence.
Here, Skelly there, Skelly on my t-shirt. I've got a little ornament that I had on our Christmas tree this year of Skelly. But somewhere between heaven and hell, Social Distortion.
I know a bunch of people that are very big Social D fans. The only song I remember is The Story of My Life. Is it on that album or not?
No, that's on the album just before.
Is that the self-titled album,
Yeah.
Social Distortion? Okay, all right. And I liked it. I liked the style of the song. And you're right, it's like an old school rock song, almost maybe rockabilly. At least that song was a little bit rockabilly, I thought. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Mike Ness is just he can write some great songs. His main guitar is Les Paul, and if I'm not mistaken, he tunes it down for some of the songs. He tunes it down a half step, but then he capos at the first fret, so it's easier for him to play, because I think he said he had and I'm just going off of memory, watching one of his interviews, I thought he had injured his hand and it's not real strong, so he has to do some different things with the way his guitar is tuned to play. But yeah, I'll have to look that up. And great. I just love his guitar playing. He's got such energy, and that really drew me in, was seeing that very first video of him with just tattoos up and down and just Les Paul jumping in the air. Is great.
it's the tattoos. They actually help. It's like the race cars with the stickers and the numbers. That makes it go faster. Like with tattoos, are a hell of a lot better.
Oh yeah. That's why I'm getting, I'm starting to build my
sleeve,
starting mine up. So
there you go.
I can feel my guitar playing getting a little bit better every needle poke.
There you go. Someday I will be as good as, I don't know, anybody that has tattoos. Like Slash. Doesn't Slash have a painted sleeves? I feel like a lot of good guitarists have a whole full sleeve. Maybe that's it. Just get one sleeve for the fret hand. Right?
Does he?
I thought he did.
I don't know. You know what? I guess I never really noticed on Slash. I'm sure he does. I mean, there's not very many that don't.
I'm sure there's a tattoo magazine that's got Slash on there. Maybe he doesn't. Hold on. I'm trying to look for a picture. No, now all I'm getting is tattoos of Slash. A lot of people check out my tattoo. It's a picture of Slash. Yeah, right on the calf. Okay. No, not going to go there. All right. Well, this is it. Episode 4, episode Quattro.
Yeah. We're on our way.
We're on our way to episode 5 and beyond.
Yeah, and next episode we're gonna have our first guest.
Oh yeah,
and
right.
That's gonna be a surprise. And you will see him when we see him on the show.
And I'll believe it when I see it.
But a hint will be one of our topics will revolve around the bass guitar. So looking forward to that.
I already know what the intro video should be for that one. I already know what it is.
I do too.
When we stop recording, we'll talk about it. But I think I already know what it's going to be.
Yeah, I know it.
All right. Well, listen.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing. And we're gonna leave you with a little bit of a outtake from Bill O'Reilly. Take it away, Bill. Wait, what? Take it. I don't understand what's going on right now. Take it away, Bill. Forget it. We'll do it live. Just. All right. I know what it says. I know what it says. Okay. It doesn't make any sense to me. What does this mean?
It's Sting. We're gonna play a song by Sting.
Yeah, but play it out. What does that mean? Play it out. Play it out. What does that mean? Thank you for joining our episode. That's paid talent. That's paid talent. Take care, everybody. And stop touching that.
What you drinking?
I'm drinking. Today's show is brought to you by Bullet Rye. Why rye? Because they were out of the other stuff. No, normally I get a bourbon. This is just a rye whiskey. But we'll cut here for a second. This is a programming slice. I should have mentioned this earlier. I've been struggling with finding the sound effect that we'll use. And if you want to leave this in, this is fine. There is, and it's not an 80s war movie, but it's an iconic sound. And I'm going to do it with my mouth because you know how good I am with sound effects with my mouth. Because actually, you know what? Maybe I'll find it. Let's just do this right now. And I'll play the song or the sound. And I'm going to see if you can guess where this is from. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and just share audio. Advanced computer audio. And this is probably going to create a rip in the universe. But here, just listen to this for a second. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Do you know where that's from?
You know, it almost reminds me a little bit of the Mandalorian sound effect, but is that something from like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or Outlaw Josie Wales? Am I on the right track there?
I think you're close to probably the same period of cinematography. It's Patton. It's the Patton movie.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen that so many times. There's a scene where Patton is in a battlefield before it's about to start. He goes, "I've been here before." And he's in a different life, you know, he's like getting all weird. With Bradley, he's there with General Bradley explaining stuff. And you hear the sound effect every once in a while. And I'm like, that would be great for when like number 4, you know, we kind of. So I didn't do it with my voice, but then I did do it with my voice. So, all right.